Hey, what's up, YouTube? Houston here. For those of you just finding my YouTube channel, welcome. Please remember to hit that subscribe button and that bell. And for those of you that's been following me and supporting me, salute. And for my favorite patrons, always double salute. Now, today's video, we're actually going to be talking about Navy Federal Auto Loan pre-approval hack. Now, I have made a video about getting the Navy Federal Auto Loan, but I decided I want to take it up a notch. So this here video is not going to just be about a Navy Federal Auto Loan, but I have a couple other credit unions you may want to consider as well. Now, that being said, with the Navy Federal Auto Loan hack, some of the things that you need to understand and which is going to help you, they pull your TransUnion FICO 9. Okay, and you guys know I'm a very big supporter of leveraging your FICO 9 credit score. So what that means is that adding trade lines like your subscriptions, your Experian Boost, your Ultra FICO, that helps build up your FICO 9. Adding authorized users, removing inquiry, those are the things that help build up your FICO 9. And the reason I tell you to do that because it'll make it much easier for you to get funding using your FICO 9 credit score versus your FICO 8 credit score. And if you don't understand the difference between the two, there's a link in the description that you can get your real FICO score. That being said, okay, like I said, with Navy Federal, they pull your FICO 9. Now, you must become a member. However, I do have two other lenders that you can become a member, but it's not as challenging, just like with Navy Federal, okay, to be pre-approved for auto loan. And the reason you want to be pre-approved for auto loan, so that way you know what you're already working with, okay? Now, that being said, I always tell you guys is with Navy Federal, you should be focusing on building up your internal scoring. Now, for some of you all that don't know what that means, I'm going to share that with you in a minute. But the average credit score with Navy Federal is a 550. Now, the interest rate on their auto loans go from 2.99 up to 5.59. Okay, that's what the average interest rates are. Okay, so it still depends on the credit score, how bad the credit score is, but that's what you're pretty much working with for most people. Now, for those of you that already have a Navy Federal credit loan and you have bad credit, put it in below. What are you paying on the interest rate? Okay. Now, here's something else I would tell you. When you're trying to get an auto loan through Navy Federal, do your pre-approval at the beginning of the month. The reason is because you have a 30-day calendar on that hard pull. Yes, it's going to be a hard pull, but it's a 30-day calendar on it. And since they're pulling from TransUnion, you may want to see if they can still use that pull for the auto loan, use it for the credit card as well. Let's see, can you get two accounts out of one? All right, if possible. You can always ask them about it, right? But one of the things about it, the reason you want to do it at the beginning of the month, so that way, say that you haven't found that car within the first 10 to 15 days, because if you did it in the middle of the month, that 15 days running over into that next month, they're going to do another hard pull. So to keep them from putting multiple inquiries for you to get an auto loan is the reason that I would tell you to do that. Okay, now another thing you want to do when you're doing the pre-approval, but you have to be signed into your Navy Federal account when you do the pre-approval. You don't want to give them any vehicle information. Okay, the reason is because what if that vehicle ends up being sold by the time you get approved for the loan? So that's the reason you don't want to do that, and that will void your check. So that's the reason you don't want to do that, okay? You always want to get your pre-approval, and then once you get the check, then go to whatever dealership and get the car. But don't give them any type of vehicle information, okay? And not in terms of the description, like the VIN number and stuff like that. You know, maybe dollar amount, but beyond that, don't do anything else beyond that, okay? Now, talking about internal scoring and why this is maybe just as important as your personal credit score. And the reason is because with Navy Federal, they're big on what type of relationship you have with us. And they're also big on if you have a relationship with another credit union. That's also a good thing to have. So if you're able to do a direct deposit, if not direct deposit, make sure when you open up your business checking account, make sure you get the flagship checking account. Make sure you're doing weekly deposits. Make sure you get a savings account, and then you may want to add in a CD, a money market account. But if you have challenging credit, you definitely want to do a pledge loan, and you definitely want to do the N Rewards card, okay? That's going to help with your internal scoring. Now, your internal scoring, the numbers go from 100 to 450, all right? So that's the reason, because I have seen people with 550 credit scores, and because they had multiple accounts with Navy Federal approved them for an unsecured credit card. So that's another reason why building up the internal scoring is more important, because it makes it easier for you to get approved for other accounts like your auto loan. That being said, another credit union you may want to take a consideration is with PenFed. PenFed does pre-approvals as well. All right, and how you join PenFed, you just open up a savings account with $5 deposited, okay? And they pull your Equifax FICO 9, okay? They're strictly Equifax FICO 9. Now, in reference to Navy Federal, because I know some of you guys may say, well, what about business loans or commercial loans and stuff like that, business credit card? On the business credit cards with Navy Federal, they're going to pull your Experian FICO 9, okay, just to clear that up. But with PenFed, they don't have business accounts, so they're all Equifax FICO 9, okay, and they don't offer any secured cards, but their auto loans are fairly easy to get approved for, okay. As a matter of fact, you may be able to use that one inquiry and get multiple accounts with them. So not only a auto loan, but a credit card and a personal loan possibly. And I'll break down the personal loan, but their auto loans go from 100 up to 150,000. Okay, now if you have an existing auto loan with PenFed, you can't refinance that. But their financing go up to 125% of the vehicle. And you can pre-qualify, okay, without hurting your credit. Their interest rates go from 4.24 up to 6.0%. So their interest rate may be slightly higher depending on the type of loan, whether it's a new loan or a refinance loan dealing with Navy Federal versus Navy Federal, okay? But they do pull your FICO 9 Equifax. Now, in reference to their loans, like I said, you may be able to use that one inquiry to get multiple products, because that has happened with some people. They've got approved for a credit card, and then they got approved for an auto loan. All right. So when you open up that account, their personal loans go from 600 up to 50,000. All right. So they're able to do a soft pull to pre-qualify for the personal loan as well. But understand, you have to become a member. Average credit score on a personal loan is a 650. All right. But that doesn't say that if you have below a 650 you want, but it's just letting you know that the average credit score. Now, there's no origination fees or no prepayment penalty. Now, here's the interesting thing about this for some of you guys. That you may not know. With banks and credit unions, when it comes to like loans and credit cards and stuff, their DTI, debt to income ratio, usually maxes out at 55%. So that's the reason some people say, well, I got pretty good credit and they still deny me. But you can be in the 700s, but if your debt to income ratio is over that 55%, they may have denied you, okay? Now, here's another one, Penn State, okay? Penn State Employees Credit Union. Now, the news is a lot of people starting to get their Penn State accounts closed down, okay? So you have to be very careful and make sure that once you're starting to build a relationship with Penn State, you're doing a straight and narrow, because they're very good, okay? And you can use your 30-day, like I said, beginning of the month, pre-qual in terms of using that same inquiry to get maybe a credit card and a line of credit at the same time, you're getting pre-qualified for that auto loan. All right. Now they pull either your Equifax mortgage scores, your Experian mortgage score 2, or your TransUnion 4. Okay. So again, if you don't know the difference between your mortgage scores and your auto loan scores and your credit card scores, click the link and get your real scoring system and schedule a one-on-one consultation. All right. That being said, looking at their auto loans, now their auto loans is interesting because they have auto loans that go up to 120 months. That's a long time, right? Their interest rates go from 2.74 to 7.99. Now their minimum auto loan is 1,000 and up. All right, they do 100% financing on their vehicles, and the average credit score for their auto loans is about a 580 credit score. Okay, now again, one of the things that I'm continuing to tell you all, the best way in order to build a longer relationship with these here credit unions, especially if you're planning on getting funded, is maybe getting an auto loan first, because that's probably the easiest thing to get with these credit unions, and then going after the credit cards and the loans, the personal loans or lines of credit. Okay. Now, if you have any questions about business credit funding, personal credit funding, click the link in the description to schedule a one-on-one consultation. Thank you.